evacuate.
On Minnesota, there were a lot of horrific details that came out today about the suspect who's been charged there. Have you called the governor yet or been able to speak to any of them?
I don't really call him. He appointed this guy to a position. I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling him. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
Well, the beautiful bill, sir. Can you talk?
All jokes aside, no King's protests were amazing. I just have to say it. No King's protest was magnificent to see. I wasn't there. I wasn't at any of the No King's protests. My son actually had a birthday party to go to, so my day on Saturday was busy. But all jokes aside on this podcast, in this video today, I wanted to talk about, first and foremost, I want to send my condolences to all the Minnesotans, all the Americans, the true patriots who are in a time of mourning right now for the terroristic assassinations of Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark, and the attempts on John Hoffman and his spouse. I don't have her name, but, I just send my condolences up to Governor Tim Walz and all the Minnesota representatives and individuals who reside in Minnesota. Violence needs to be condemned, and it needs to come especially from the right side, because the rhetoric that they impose, the rhetoric that they say, it stokes up the MAGA base to do these things, to try to target democratically elected officials. The violence should not be warranted in the United States. And the world is looking at us, and they're seeing the chaos that's taking place, like I say over and over again, on my channel. And so with that being said, I just want to have a few moments of silence for the Hortmans. I'm sorry. And, just for everyone in the time of grievance, because there's a specific person that is not or does not plan to reach out for this time in need. Our country is in mourning. So I just want to have a few moments of silence for that, for the Hortmans, their family, their friends, anyone that has been a part of their life and have been impacted, especially Tim Walz, of course, the governor of Minnesota. So and with that being said, you are on the Just Listen podcast. I got to show the shirt, man. The wife made me another shirt. She has cricket. And so she makes shirts and everything. She hooks up some stuff. I will have some merch out there once I start getting more of a clientele. But yeah, she hooks me up when it comes to the shirts. I have several shirts now for the Just Listen podcast. So if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Now, I know I just did a little thing with the drone and, everything that took place with Trump's military parade. We know it was his birthday parade. So we just going to cut it out right then and there. $45 million plus of our tax money gone to waste. It was a massive flop. And I am very grateful for all those states and cities that did the No Kings protest. We had many over here in the state of Florida. We had California, of course. We had Illinois, Connecticut, Utah. There were No Kings protests all over the United States. Oregon, Washington State, Washington area, everywhere. The one place they didn't show up at was at Trump's weak ass parade. And I'm grateful for it. I am all for it, because we don't have or need any kings in this country. We don't have or need any dictators in this country. The display of the military and our strength comes by what they do overseas and how to protect our country. That's plain and simple. Just like one of my buddies said, he gets thanked on the 15th and 30th. We don't need a celebration for the military. How about we take care of our veterans with the VA hospitals, with their doctors? How about we do that with this administration? So I am so grateful that it was a major flop, although it's going to cost us money in regards to everything that took place at Trump's birthday parade. You had Trump over there dozing off. I heard that he got on Pete Hegseth. Today's the 17th, but I heard he got on Pete Hegseth in regards to everything that took place and did not take place at the Trump parade. We can just call it a rally. We can call it a Yahtzee rally for real. That's what we can call it in that parade on Saturday. So I wanted to go over some things that have really been like a back and forth flip-flopping when it comes to Trump and what he is talking about with deportations and everything else. Because this man, I'm telling you, wherever the wind blows, if people don't like that, his MAGA base doesn't like that, he's going to blow the other way. Or if it's hurting the people that provided money to him, that donated to him, the Republican farmers that donated to Trump, all those individuals that are not liking what they voted for, they have some things to say now. So, of course, without further ado, Trump he's had a conversation in regards to backing off of the deportations from hotels and farms and things like that. And so the MAGA base is not too happy about that. And I got a couple clips to show you, so bear with me because there's one last thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to the Trump administration and Trump himself. And then last but not least, there is something that we should not forget. There is something that we should not forget on where we're at today when it comes to another individual. So hang tight with me on this video. I'm going to keep it brief as possible, but don't forget to subscribe. This is the Just Listen podcast with Walt. I do this without getting paid. I am not a left-wing person who gets money for what I do. I do this because I have a passion for people. I love individuals, and I hate to see the direction our country's going. So, yeah, Trump backs off of his deportations here. Let's just hear what he had to say on this. And then I have a guy, Will Westmoreland, who's a farmer, who I like watching his videos, too. You have to check him out. But here we go.
Take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you know, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers.
All right. So, well, you know, we heard from the president there. He's acknowledging that, you know, the system is broken, so to speak. But you are a farmer. How is this impacting some of the people you employ, you know, whether their status is legal or illegal? Are people scared to come to work, or do you know farmers who are experiencing that?
Yes, I don't employ immigrants in my farming operation in Southwest Missouri. I do a very specific type of intense farming, but I do talk to farmers all over the country that employ immigrants. I mean, 50% of the agricultural workforce in this country is undocumented immigration, up to 70% immigration as a whole. So it has a huge impact. You know, when the president made this promise that he was only going to deport the criminals, and then really shortly into his administration, we had these raids in the Central Valley of California and other key agricultural areas, what it resulted in within 3 days was a 75% absenteeism rate among farm workers. And no farm, regardless of its size, can operate very long without 75% of its workers. And we're seeing that trend continue when raids go into a certain area and people are grabbed off the farms. Then you see this no-show problem and people don't show up to work, and it causes causes a huge problem. Not only, agriculture is a real-time endeavor. When crops become ripe, they have to be harvested out of the field within a very specific period of time. When a cow has to be milked for dairy production, it has to happen now. We just can't wait for the problem to be fixed because we're feeling the ramifications already. And if I could say one other thing, although I'm glad the president's had this epiphany about the relationship between farmers and their workers, he also shows.
All right, I'm gonna stop Will right there. But as you can see, Trump is trying to say that he's going to allow some of the migrants into our country or let them stay to work the farms and hotel industry. This is a man that decided that he was going to deport everyone, just not the criminals. And now he's talking about, oh, well, they're going to start hiring the criminals to work on the farms and in the hotels. The man created the mess, okay? He created the mess. Now he's got to figure out how to clean it up after the backlash that he's getting from the farmers that voted for him. After the backlash that he's getting from the hotel residency owners or hotel owners that voted for him, possibly. These individuals should have knew before going in that there wasn't an issue with illegal immigrants. There wasn't an issue with that. Matter of fact, if you go back to Trump's first term, which this is something that wasn't really talked about, but he had the era of Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon and all those fascist, racist individuals talking about we need to get rid of the colored people. That's what we need to do. We need to get rid of the colored people. So let's start first with the migrants and let's just classify them all as illegal because they couldn't get their documentation upgraded or updated. So now they're classified as illegal. Now Trump is having this problem with the farmers saying, you know what? I messed up. These individuals should have knew what they were getting into when you had these rallies and with the rallies that said the signs that say deport them all. And also the individuals that voted for Trump who are of Hispanic, Mexican, Latin descent that voted for Trump. Do you think that he was really going to go just for the criminals? There is not immigrants coming over to our country to do crime. They know not to get themselves in trouble. But of course, we have some of those people that come in here to sprinkle in a very small percentage that does crime in our country. But the biggest crimes that have happened in our country are from American born citizens, as we just saw this past Saturday that what took place over in Minnesota. What Vance Luther Belter or whatever the hell his name is, killing two Democratic officials, two Democratic representatives because of the stuff that's been put in his head by the Republican Party, by Donald Trump, by all these right-wing talking nuts. The party of God, family, and guns is the party that doesn't mind to get people stoked up to go out there and kill a person who decides that they vote Democrat or are part of the Democratic Party. Vance Belter, his wife has been apprehended, but this man was able to go into a person's home while the police were there and unalive two individuals and almost killed two other individuals. But wait, there is more in regards to this situation. I'm calling out all you MAGA nuts. I'm calling out all you Republicans that said that this was a Democrat that did the unalivings. All you guys, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves because this was an individual that was warped. His brain was warped by the right-wing talking points coming from every single one of you individuals that talk about God, but then talk about your guns as well. When you should be condemning the violence against any politician. Just like the same conspiracy theories that you guys were talking about in Butler, Pennsylvania, when that 20-something-year-old tried to take some shots at Trump and end up hitting an innocent bystander. You should be ashamed of yourself. You talk about Jesus and God and all this kind of stuff, and I'm going to point this out about Mike Johnson too. You talk the word, but you don't live the word. And that's the problem with individuals that I have in this particular atmosphere, media and all, that talk about this stuff. And then they're just closed lips. They don't condone it or condemn it. I'm so upset with that, man. I'm so upset in the country that we live in that we have to deal with this type of stuff. But like I said, wait, there's more. And this is what I'm going to land my plane on. And then there's one last thing that I want to show you that we should not forget. Whatsoever. We should not forget. But here was what happened whenever this was actually today, June the 17th, and what Trump said in regards to, maybe giving Tim Walz a call. The man is nuts.
Evacuate.
A lot of horrific details that came out today about the suspect who's been charged there. Have you called the governor yet or been able to speak to any of them?
I don't really call him. He appointed this guy to a position. I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling him. Why would I call him? I could call him, say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
The refusal bill, sir. Can you
This is the president of the United States. And for a tragedy to happen in his country that he runs, he's not going to even call the governor. And we don't even know if he's going to call the family members in regards to this particular attack. This is the president that some of you individuals voted for. This is the type of person that you want running our country. We the people make the decisions on who to be president. And unfortunately, the fortunate thing is I didn't vote for this. The unfortunate part about it is I have to live with this for 3.5 more years. You have other countries like Emmanuel Macron reaching out to Tim Walz. You have other world leaders, other country leaders reaching out to the governor, maybe even the family members, sending their condolences. But we have a president, just because the governor is a Democrat, he's like, I don't know, this guy is crazy. See, this is the problem that we have. So any independents, any individual that didn't know who to vote for, didn't know if they wanted to vote for Kamala because they didn't know if she was black or not or whatever, or they didn't want to have a woman in power. This is what we got now. We got an individual in our country running our country again that totally botched the first presidency term, running our country again that cannot reach out and will not reach out to someone that has a tragic thing to happen. Let it be a red state like mine's in Florida, and something like this was to happen. I don't even think he'll reach out to any of the red state governors. This is what we get with an incompetent, convicted felon president that used somebody's money to get him back in office. That's why money needs to be taken out of politics when it comes to us voting for the president that's going to be best for our country. Our country is suffering now. And I want you to post in the comment section if you agree or disagree with that, because I can tell you, I have receipts. I have a lot of information in regards to why I disagree, why I agree that our country is burning. Last but not least, let's not forget how we got here. Let's not forget the beginning of the madness that took place within our country. And that's with yours truly, Elon Musk.
Elections, they come and go. Some elections are, important, some are not. But this one, this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
Elon Musk is the reason why we got here. And I will never forget the damage that he has caused on the United States of America, along with everyone else that's caused the damage as well. I'm landing my plane. This is Walt with the Just Listen podcast. I am tired. I had a pretty decent day at work, but it was a long day at work. Like and subscribe to the channel. United we stand, divided we fall. And the way that we get to take care of this issue is by showing up in the midterms and getting the Republicans out. Peace and love.